You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Amazing Race After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Amazing Race After Show.
Welcome back, Jessica.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. And our guests.
Oh.
Everyone watching.
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone watching, especially the contestants from the show that are watching right now. Well, actually, it's only Tim. Tim,
Yeah.
thanks for your loyalty to our after show. But thank you for doing it. We are doing the Amazing Race After Show for season 23, episode 7. Speed dating is the worst. I'm your host, James Wallington, and with me tonight is
Jessica Carroll and...
Hi everybody, I'm Justin, and just so you know, there are other amazing racers that do listen and are watching, but it's just because you're like a brother to him now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's now this like brotherly bond going on between the two of you, and now I feel like you're only going to be speaking to Tim.
Well, no, because Marie's my Twitter BFF. We've been over that.
Dear
right.
But she won't be watching till tomorrow, and same with Jason and Amy. Well, they probably won't be watching till Wednesday.
I'm really excited that Jason and Amy are on Team AfterBuzz right now,
Heck
and that they
yeah.
are like followers. But you know what's going to happen though? This happens whenever you meet a bigger celebrity or whatever. Pretty soon, he's not gonna know who we are.
No, he's going to
Sorry,
forget about
Jessica.
us.
We are out of the picture because he's now friends with amazing
Maybe
race
we
stars.
can fool him and dress up as Marie and
Then
Tim.
he'll start talking to us.
Yeah.
I see how this goes. All right. Well, until you get that, big ahead, we're glad you're still here with us.
Oh,
James.
well, it's always good to be here, of course. Well, let's just dive right into this. Let's go to
do
Abu
it.
Dhabi, shall we?
Let's go.
Sweat
go.
our asses off.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, the heat seemed to be like the biggest obstacle for all the teams this episode.
Everyone complained about the heat.
Brought out some tudes too, which I always kind of enjoyed.
If they weren't complaining about it, they were wiping the sweat off their face. Like,
Yeah.
it was unreal.
Hot, yeah.
What were your overall thoughts on this episode?
Oh my gosh. Best episode ever. Because let's face it, I am totally for Team Baseball Bunnies. And I'm just so happy that they're still in. I was freaking out.
I don't know, until that final part where we'll get to it, later, but until the final race part, I actually didn't know if I found this episode as riveting as the others. Like,
Yeah.
I can see why the ending was the best ever, but in my personal opinion, this was not like the worst or the best. It was just kind of a good episode.
I agree with you. I think it was a good episode. But then again, since your team was like on the line and was saved, I can see why it would be.
I was about to be on the verge of tears, and then when he was like, wait, I started like jumping up and down. My
Yeah.
poor dogs probably like their eardrums are still probably ringing. I freaked out.
They were screaming in our house too.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly for me. Yeah, when that happened. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you.
Yes.
Well,
so,
I mean, there's no doubt that it was an action-packed episode in Abu
Yeah.
Dhabi. Well, they started off going to Abu Dhabi, but Leo and Jamal, like they said at the beginning of this episode, they felt like they were going to have the upper hand because, they're from the Middle East.
Right,
They know
this
how
is
to
like their
speak Arabic.
homeland.
Exactly. They had like smooth sailing this entire episode. They were the only team on flight number 1.
right.
And you know what, though? I think that goes to show just what confidence and determination can do on the race. Because let's be honest, they said they speak a little bit, and you didn't really hear them, at least we didn't see them speak a lot of, Arabic. And it was their home region, but not even their home country. I just feel like if they would have had that confidence on other legs of the race, they would have
Yeah.
done as well as they did this time, because already they were thinking smarter and harder.
Like, we
and
got this. We got this.
Yeah, and so they were smart, and they were the first group. Instead of going to the airport to look for flights, already off the bat, they were thinking, they were together, and they went to the hotel, and that's why they were the only ones to
Right.
book their flights. That's why they're the only ones to get that 10-minute earlier flight.
I agree. I think a lot of it is a confidence thing because, I mean, you go back to like season, I think 12 or 13, Ron and Christina. I don't know if you guys watched that far back, but they're a father-daughter team. And everywhere they went in Asia, they excelled because they knew the language. And I think
Yeah.
when you're in that kind of element or you're around people that you can really relate to,
Yeah.
you're going to rise to the occasion and succeed.
Right.
Can we also talk about our ice girls? And I know that we love that our races are
Oh.
listening, but sometimes I hope that maybe they're not, because I don't really have a lot of nice things to say about them,
know.
including today. So I'm sorry, girls. I think they thought the only city in the Middle East was Dubai, because they thought, oh my God, I'm so excited to go to Abu Dubai.
I know. It's really, but you know what?
I love Abu Dubai.
I mean, I think every season needs to have one of those teams. You know,
Yeah.
you just have to. And no disrespect to Allie and Ashley, because it is a reality show. We understand editing, but from our perspective, you guys keep surprising us because we think you're gonna go home.
I know. They are just hanging on there, and they just keep slipping in. But they did say that Abu Dhabi was their favorite place so far on this trip.
Yeah.
So
We learned
And
a
I
little
thought
bit.
it was interesting that it
Abu
was like
Dubai.
Travis
Abu
and
Dubai.
Nicole's like favorite. That's like their number one place they wanted to visit. And
I know.
how cool to be on the race and like
Go to your
go
favorite.
to a destination on
Yeah.
your top 10 or something.
It was
So,
crazy for me as a girl to see that they had to literally be covered in a black
Yeah.
robe over their head to, I mean, no skin was showing, nothing. So that's kind of cool. You got to really see their culture.
my friend's on a cruise. She performs on a cruise ship, and I immediately recognized the mosque that they went to because she actually sent me a postcard / photo from that very mosque wearing those black
robes.
robe type things. So I totally get it. I can't imagine from the girl's perspective like what that would have been like, having to like cover up and like
Yeah.
you're really immersing into that culture.
Yeah.
essentially.
You really are, because the mosque is Sheikh Zayed Mosque, and it's famous, and it was not only huge, it was just like the marble floors, like really incredible. I think a great
Gorgeous.
way to like, what a drastic difference from where they had just come from in Vienna, and like what a great way to like throw these teams in just a completely different culture. Like I loved
Absolutely.
it.
And
Yeah.
my favorite line from Tim and Marie this episode was Tim, and he said she couldn't yell, she couldn't run, she had to take her shoes off. I wish it would just be like that for the
All
whole
the
race. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that line. He's
Yeah.
like, are we just gonna keep her here the whole time?
But going back to Tim and Marie, I don't know why I saw even more chemistry this episode. When they were at I think it was the airport, she was checking in and he was over talking with Jason, because about the whole taxi
Right.
situation.
The
They're like,
bromance is back.
oh yeah, bromance
how
is back.
dudes
Guys
do
just
it.
10 minutes.
Guys, just
Yeah.
get over the drama. Whatever. Yeah, right. Anyways, but she kind of looked over her shoulder. She was eyeing Tim, and I don't know, I saw little butterflies in her.
And what's so funny is, Jessica and I were talking before the show started here tonight at AfterBuzz, and we both agreed that we're like, we feel like there was really something going on between them, and she just looks at him with that like little twinkle in her
Right.
eye. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But you're saying Marie and Tim are.
I don't think I think they're still exes. I think Marie's not.
We'll have to get to it later. But
Yeah.
I think at least in that part of the race, I'm with you. I
Yeah.
think there was something happened in Abu Dhabi.
Well, another exchange that happened at the ticket counter that I thought was funny is when Nikki and Kim were joking with the attendant about, oh, can we get the vegetarian option?
Oh,
It's going to be a comfortable flight. What are the seats like? And
Yeah.
Marie's like, you are so annoying.
Well,
I loved that. They were just taking their time on purpose.
And I love that. Maybe it was just editing, but I love too where that scene happened exactly after the girls had already just said, our goal for this race is not dibbled out, to not like slow up and be so chatty this time. We really need to start focusing. And then immediately they're like, what's the entrees
Yeah.
like?
Is there going to be good snacks?
Let's just chit chat with you for a while. Oh, I like them.
Oh, I still love
It's
them.
another thing that makes them so endearing.
Yes.
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
So it seemed like everyone else was on flight number 2. So again, Leo and Jamal start off this leg of the race completely strong.
So they got 10 minutes head start.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And whoa,
Breathe.
excuse me. I had a little bubble come out. So it seems like Tim and Marie are the center of the drama yet again at a detour because they can't get their dates together. So this detour was either sort it out or sew it up. And I'm
Yeah.
going to read again the description of these detours
love
that
I
you
did
do
last
this.
week. Okay, so sort it out. Teams had to search through several types of dates to prepare an elaborate display tray. Once it was correct, they would receive their next clue. And sew it up, teams had to put together a traditional fishing net. Once the fishing boat captain was pleased with their work, they would receive their next clue. What would you have done?
I would have probably done the sorted out because even the word sewing would have stay away because I can't sew. I'm not good at any of that. So I would have done sorted out.
I agree.
What about you?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of learning how these. I think I would have done sew it up, even though I don't know how to sew. Only because I feel like we're starting to learn that there's oftentimes a more puzzle challenge than there's more of a physical challenge. And I feel like for me personally,
yeah.
I get frustrated with these puzzles. And like if I don't get it, it gets worse. With physical, it might take a little longer sometimes, but it's a clear path on how to get to the end.
Right.
So I'm starting to learn that for all these challenges, when I saw that sorted out and all those dates, that stuff drives me absolutely mad.
Well, it
So-
seems like no matter which Detour team chose, everyone struggled.
Yes.
And a lot of it either was making it so particular that it was correct, or the heat was really kind of that mental
Yeah.
challenge that they were trying to overcome to really concentrate and get the task done.
Mm-hmm.
But Tim and Marie, again, the drama, were debating the whole time about how the dates were arranged on the platter. But it seemed like other teams had similar issues.
But let's change your wording a little bit. Just because you and Marie now are like BFFs, don't use such nice words like
Yeah.
debate. There was no
They
debate.
were annoying. They were
Screaming,
banting.
and it's-
She was squawking.
Yeah, a debate means that there's an equal like conversation back and forth. It was not. There was like this just the whole time. The other teams were debating on what to do. Those two were just yelling at each other.
I see
You're
what
clouded
you're saying.
by what's happening
But
right now.
yet
in this
again, if
friendship.
they weren't on the show, in my opinion, where would the entertainment really be?
True, oh, totally.
That's true. But if you were
Totally.
one of the contestants trying to organize dates and you had like this annoying voice in the back,
Yelling.
you'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, shut
Shut
up.
up. But yeah, so and the problem seemed to be with that challenge was all the dates were in this like central area, except one table was like apparently way off down this market, and that is what threw these teams off. And that's what they couldn't figure out was that, yeah, there was a separate table of dates.
Once again, it comes down to detail.
Yeah, detail.
Always detail in this race.
But going back on the arguing part, Nikki and Kim, one of them, or kind of both of them, they, in the interview, they said how annoyed they were that the fact that now Americans have this reputation as yelling and arguing all the time, and that Marie was making a really bad impression for Americans in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting point too that even in the intensity of this race, I did like how, you know, the baseball wives, they always surprise me, and you know they're like they're always thinking, and you know, and even just the thought that they were like, you know what, we also, yeah, it's intense, but we're also in someone else's foreign country, we need to
Right,
watch
let's
how
not-
we act.
Yeah, let's not be rude.
Yeah.
They've
No.
definitely kind of grown the most, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way they look at the race, I feel like they're making better choices. Yeah?
And even with the dates, they actually made a great decision. They made a good decision, but I don't know. We can talk about that later. So Nikki and Kim found the correct date that was apart from the rest, and Jamal, was it Leo or Jamal, approached them and said, "Where'd you guys find these dates?" And they knew in their head that the only thing that kind of kept them in the lead was the fact that they found this special date that was apart from the rest. So they didn't tell Leo and Jamal, even though Leo and Jamal said, if you tell us, we'll help you out later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So do you think it was a good decision that they didn't tell Leo and Jamal where it was?
That's
Oh,
a good
boy.
question.
It's like hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it wouldn't have really helped them now that we know how the end of the race turned out.
Right.
But I think it could have helped them. You know, the thing is that they were still at a good spot in the race at this point, and so I think by them helping them, they would have lost. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have told them. Yeah.
Part of me thinks that I wouldn't have told them too, because it's like, oh, I've won up on everyone else. And
Yeah.
and they did say once we tell Leo and Jamal, they will tell everyone else. But if they did tell Leo and Jamal, then when Leo and Jamal got it correct and the girls got it wrong for the first time, maybe Leo and Jamal could have just gone over and said, like, the girls could have been like, hey, we helped you, now you got to tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
true.
Because they went back 3 times. So maybe they could have, if they got that little
Yeah.
help from Leo and Jamal, they could have maybe only done it in 2.
And that's what was so frustrating is that they started this leg of the race in second place.
Right.
And to see them already on this first detour lose their entire lead. But that's what's also getting so hard about the race is since there's so few teams it's like now if you go down 2 or 3 spots, you're now in last place all of a sudden. You know,
Exactly.
and it's so scary.
And it kind of raises the stakes a little bit more, and
Yeah.
puts a lot of burden on your shoulder. Like, oh God, I got to get it together now, or we could be eliminated.
Exactly.
You know, and speaking of like burden on shoulders, and literally is the other challenge that wasn't so easy. If you decided to do the other detour as well, you had to build these massive fish nets.
That would have just annoyed the heck out
Oh,
of me.
see, that would have been like,
You're not a big phizical laborer, guys? I mean, come on.
no.
Well, do
and
you know- yeah.
fishing and sewing, not in my category of things I would want to do.
They would have just had footage of me bitching the whole time because I hate being so hot, and it seemed like that was such a problem.
Yeah.
Especially you're right by the water. There's no shade cover at all for Nicole and Travis and Jason and Amy.
Yeah.
And they kept saying it was so hot, and Travis was like, "This isn't hot Atlanta. This is worse." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think it just also made tempers go up, and I
Frustration and
definitely, I have always really liked Travis and Nicole. I like how they said on this episode that they always try to remember that their children are watching, their
Yeah.
loved ones are watching, that they need to remember they're here to show people, how to behave even under stress. That being said, to show how stressful this race can be, we saw them, I think maybe for the first or second time tonight, in the season, really struggle with each other and kind of have a bit of a breakdown.
yeah, I think the other time would be maybe the dancing.
That's the one that came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nicole, she tries so hard, and she obviously wants to be a great part of this team. And I just feel like, they separated to do, 2 different. So Nicole did the
Part.
bass or one part, and then Travis did the other part. And I could tell that they were getting frustrated because she did it wrong and he had to completely redo it. But the cute thing, and I think is very sincere and genuine of her, is that she did apologize and she said, "I'm so sorry." She basically took all the blame.
Yeah, which I don't know, I kind of felt bad for her
I
because she
know.
was so hard on herself when she did it
Exactly.
wrong. And what's interesting is when you do separate these detours, you have no idea what the other teams are doing. So they were thinking about even using their express pass,
Yeah.
when in fact they were not behind
At all.
It ended up being, this challenge appeared to be a faster route
Mm-hmm.
than doing the dates. But yeah, they thought they were maybe going to be in last place now, maybe use the express pass, the pressure was on. But one team that rocked it, Jason and Amy, per
Oh, yeah.
usual. Per usual.
Right.
Per usual.
They are a great team, and they even said, we just went there. We maybe said 2 words to each other. They were just focusing, wanting to get out of the heat. They didn't even have any issues.
Yeah.
It just speaks such volume again on the type of relationship that they have.
Seriously.
I support it.
Yeah, it's just I know I sound like a broken record again, but it's just odd that they are not this long married couple in this relationship. I mean, they've been together for a while, but the way they act when they know when to just be quiet and do their own work, they know when to work to speak to each other. Like, it seems like they've been together for years.
Yeah, talk about finding the right one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Jeez.
definitely talk about that because I have some.
Wow.
I have some
course.
info on their
Are you invited to the
relationship.
wedding? I mean,
Yeah.
No, but
If you need a date.
it goes with the thought of it seems like they've been together forever. They've had that.
Yeah.
They were meant to be.
Well, hold
Yeah.
it. Keep
We'll
us
hold
in
on to it.
suspense
Of
and
course.
tell us at the end of the show what we don't know because we're not BFFs.
You got it. Okay, so the
Can't
teams
wait.
head off to Al Bandar Marina to take that luxury cruise
Yes.
to Yas Marina, and they had to do the roadblock. And the roadblock was.
But wait, we can't skip over the boat issue.
Oh right.
Ugh, that pissed me off royally.
So everyone got on the boat. The boat left every 15 minutes. So
the Afghanimals.
the Afghanimals and
Jason and Amy.
Jason, was it Jason and Amy?
They were on the
Yeah.
first. They were on the first job.
Okay, yeah, they left on the first, but then it was Tim and Marie and Allie. Who was the boat?
So yeah, then there was a second boat, and that's where Travis and Nicole and some other people got on the second boat. Then there was a third boat, and
Okay,
the third boat, is where we had Tim and Marie were on that one, as well as
Allie and Ashley.
Allie and Ashley, you got it.
Right. So the 4 of them are on the boat, just literally counting down to the minute, to 15 minutes. And they look over and they see the baseball bunnies running. Literally, they were at the dock, ready to jump on as they pull away. 10 seconds too late.
I couldn't believe it because this was the part where James, I was excited to talk to you because you are Mr. Reality Television.
Yes.
And this was the one in my mind, here's how I pictured it. I figured they were going to be like, okay, the baseball wives didn't make it in time. Let's hold the boat just for dramatic reasons. Have the girls run up to the boat and then have the boat pull away because it's not going to change the outcome of the race. I'm sure it didn't happen that way, but it's almost like it was scripted. It was so... I would have thrown myself onto the boat because I feel like she could have.
I know, they were so close. I would have definitely jumped.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
I agree. There's a lot of dramatic effect with this whole situation. It is a reality show. They could have done things to make it more dramatic than it really was. But I think also knowing that it was a non-elimination, that they could... It's okay with the boat leaving, even if that's probably not the outcome they wanted,
Yeah.
Like I don't think the show would ever change the outcome. I'm just saying I could see them being like, you know what? We know these girls are not going to make it on time. Let's have the boat wait here for 18 minutes instead of 15 minutes and just see if we can get a great shot of them running up to the boat because I was just like, that was so my heart broke for them.
So perfectly planned out.
And it's because they were such good sports in the cab on the way to the yacht, and that's why you're cheering for them because they're like, we know we're in last. We're just going to try our best.
Right.
You never know what can happen. Keep your head up. And that's why they missed it. I was like,
I know. And then they still were positive. They're like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. We're just going to stay positive, get on the next boat, and then once we get there, just keep going.
Yeah. I think they're one of the teams that have been growing the most because in the first few episodes, anytime something went wrong, they would kind of complain about it or they'd be so willing to throw in the towel essentially. But now it's like, okay, we've learned from our mistakes. If we're positive and level-headed, then everything is going to be fine.
Right.
Cool, calm, and collected in the race. So after the boat drama, their luxury cruise, they had to do the roadblock. And in this roadblock, one team member took a 200-foot drop from the top of the Yas Viceroy Abu Dhabi Hotel, rappelling down to the ground. Then they had to get out and go into the prototype race car and rode along on a lap
or multiple laps,
of the
depending on how you
circuit.
do.
While in the car, racers had to look amongst the signs and the tracks with drivers' names and lap times logged in. That just is a handful, first off. I mean, how many signs did it seem like there were?
There were a lot. There were a lot of signs. And you're going, as Jason was saying too, it wasn't that there were so many signs.
It's that your head is like
jerking around and you're bouncing.
I would have been, my anxiety would have been through the roof. First off, it's heights. I would have loved it, but I would have hated it. And then having to go straight into this race car and like in the heat where you're probably not drinking enough water and having to really focus on what's going on outside this
and on that turf and everything.
Yeah.
Would you have liked this?
I'm weird. I really would. One, I'm a freak. I love heights.
Are you kidding? I would have loved this. Would have been like my favorite roadblock.
Yeah, I love heights. I like speed. Hence all my speeding
it's
tickets.
It's an adrenaline junkie's best friend.
Yeah, it is. And this is my thing. But I did love it. Was a really sweet line or kind of funny line when Jason, they had a little shot with Jason and Amy, and he was saying, before we came on the race, Amy promised me that she would do all of the heights because Jason's scared apparently. And so far, he's in every single height challenge. Well done, Amy. Well played.
Yes. Well done, Amy.
So yeah, I would have actually liked this one until the memorization comes around.
Oh.
Because then I'm like, you ask me to memorize like one word and just having the pressure of memorizing something, hence why I'm not an actor at all. I could never memorize.
I'm right there with you.
Memorize the names and like the scores. That's where I would have been an ultimate fail. I would have been kind of like Allie and Ashley in this round.
Yeah, jumping would have been right up my alley. I've actually been in a race car before with a professional racer, and I couldn't even imagine, like, it's hard even looking out and focusing your eyes, especially with like your helmet, and like you only have this small little space to look out. That would have been so hard. And not just that, but having to actually remember the numbers and see which one is the lowest number, remember the name. This would have taken me a long time to get right.
That's probably what would have annoyed me the most is the numbers and seeing which one was the lowest.
The lowest.
And I think that's where, because Jason, who's done well in all of these challenges, even when he is nervous, he struggled on this one.
Right.
Because he would get the name or he would get the number, but he would reverse the numbers in his mind. And I just felt really bad for the guy on this one. But two guys, once again, that did a great job on this was, of course, Leo and Jamal. Their confidence kept up the whole time. They did this. They seemed excited. They did the rate. I think he did in 2 or 3 laps. They got it.
Yeah. And also, it seemed like they didn't know that there was 10 or 12 signs. It seemed like they were just expecting to see the one sign, remember the name, remember the number, and that was it. And so seeing multiple signs really threw them off.
I think that would have thrown me off because I originally thought, okay, they're just going to go onto this racetrack and find that sign that either has the flag on it that they know that that's the designated sign they have to remember.
Yeah.
But when you throw all these other dynamics into it,
yeah,
my head would have exploded.
Yeah, and Allie thought that she was looking for a specific name.
That poor girl, I don't think she had a damn clue what to look for out there.
Well, in all her interviews, she looked so tired. She's always like,
yeah. Well, because they did that red eye to Abu Dhabi.
Right.
Because remember, they left at night and they got in at 6 in the morning.
Right.
So clearly, I think they were probably, just absolutely drained. And they were hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that poor girl had a tough time. Travis and Nicole, they rocked it. Travis did really well on this one. He bounced back. But God, Allie, she scared me to death. Scared me to death on that one. And I felt bad. I felt even worse for Ashley because every time Allie would pull into the pit stop to give her answer, nope, and they just
No, and the worst part is I forgot the name. What am I supposed to look for?
Well, I love too when it came to the pit stop crew, when she would come in for her first 2 or 3 guesses, they would kindly pull up her visor and they would talk to her like, "What's the name?" And they're like, "Sorry, go again." After her 20-second lap, they would just really abruptly pull it open. She answered, they would just shove it back down, not even talk to her.
It's not like you're gonna get it right.
Yeah. They didn't even talk to her anymore. They're just like, "What?"
they had no faith in Allie.
Oh man.
Oh, I thought it was funny. I thought it was great, and because I kind of wanted them to go home. That's why.
I know.
Always second to last. Always.
Yeah.
Maybe that's their strategy because it's not, it's about the big one at the end anyway. So
Yeah,
these are all just mini races until the big finale. So
yeah.
well, it looks like being level-headed and being in Abu Dhabi really helped the Afghanimals out this episode because they got first.
It's all about the confidence.
First place, and
the
I
first
was
time.
excited for them too because it brought me back to the leg where they were up against Chester and Ephraim and they forgot to pay their taxi cab.
Taxi, yeah.
So I feel like this is a little redemption.
And
for
it
Leo
is
and
cool
Jamal.
that they got first in their homeland.
Of
Yeah,
course.
and then I think they said that too. If
Yeah.
they're going to get first anywhere, they wanted it to be in
Here.
the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi. And also, once again, though, they won a great prize, but it kind of reminded me of Chester and Ephraim a little bit when it's like, the two of you want a romantic fly over the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France.
Yes.
Like, great.
Yay! Because we know they're
Yay.
single, so it's they're gonna, they don't have any wives to take with them, or we don't.
Well,
they're
they
on
could
the
go and
show.
maybe meet their.
Unless
The
you're
love
going
of
to take
their life.
Allie and Ashley.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't know. I'm surprised you weren't on this trip with them.
Well,
but, James,
I mean, it's not like, I go out and looking for their Instagrams, but.
you know you
Sure.
totally do.
And then in second place, we had one of our favorites, Jason and Amy.
And this was what they said the 4th time
That they've got second.
that they've gotten second place. I know they were bummed about it, but at the same time, they should be patting themselves on the back that they are just consistently
At the
up there.
top.
And as you
Absolutely.
said, that's all that matters. Yeah, they're gonna miss
all
out on
about
some great
consistency.
trips,
Mhm.
but those that are right in the middle, they're just chugging along.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes down to a Travelocity trip or $1 million, I'm gonna do $1 million because then I can buy more than one trip at the end of the race.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I'm glad they were in second. They seem to be doing pretty well. Nicole and Travis, of course, third place.
Mhm.
I'm so thrilled that they're in the top 3 consistently, just like Jason and Amy.
Yes.
Tim and Marie, 4th.
Yep.
Allie and Ashley, 5th.
And then, here's the thing, though, but this is why I thought it was so great, because finally, after all that crap about the girls missing that last yacht, I love the fact that they got to the racetrack in time where it was one in the pit stop, nope. The next girl in the pit stop, nope. So you really didn't know, because they did catch up, and that's
Yeah,
what made
they
this.
did.
That's what made this your favorite episode of all time. Was that they did catch up, and you didn't know who was gonna get it.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's when I
They
got
gained
on
a
the
lot
edge
of
my seat.
time.
Yeah, they did.
And then last place was Nikki and Kim, but fortunately it was a non-elimination leg,
Yay!
and I think we're all pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
You definitely
yes.
ecstatic.
the only,
My
the only,
throat's still hurting from last night.
the only thing that needed to be eliminated from this leg of the race was Phil's hat at the pit stop. What is he wearing
I
lately?
don't know. His hat. He needs a
Yes,
stylist.
who is his stylist? Let's talk about it.
And then you could be like, well, it's because of the heat, but then no, because he had it in Vienna. He had it in Europe too. Like
It's
this thing's
becoming like a staple. And
yeah,
it's
it's
a
not
staple that needs
escaping
to
us.
go.
Will you talk to him about that, James?
Maybe I'll tweet him and
Thanks.
see what happens.
I'm feeling so
Hopefully
much
he'll
crap
be a
tonight.
part of our AfterBuzz
You could
family.
comment on his Instagram. X-nay the hat.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Should we just dive into some news and
Yes.
gossip and all that jazz?
Yeah,
All that.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So on the way to the studio tonight, I tweeted who's going to be watching live, and I tagged Amy and Marie, and they both responded. Marie's going to watch it later. She had to go to sleep tonight, whatever.
Damn it,
Amy
Marie.
ended up tweeting me back. She wishes she could watch it tonight, but they won't be watching live because they are running around like little kids at Disney. And they tweeted me a beautiful picture of them at Disney World.
Oh my god.
And in doing so, they also said, it's Jay's birthday. So happy birthday to Jason.
birthday.
It's happy birthday.
Yes, and because he got stuck with all the height challenges on The Amazing Race, she surprised him this morning with a little birthday skydiving.
Oh, she's a keeper.
This is why we love them even more now.
And still
Seriously.
talking about Jason and Amy, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed on Twitter that Amy tweeted out this link that you can go see on her YouTube page called Our Journey to the Amazing Race. And it is clips of their audition to be on the show. And they actually met in March of last year. And 3-4 weeks later, they went to Paris and had a romantic getaway. A month after knowing each other.
No.
Swear to you. You need to watch it. It's a really cute video.
Okay, Jason, if you have any friends exactly like you, you can hit me up. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all of those, because you're just, I don't know, you're a good one.
So I love all the ideas we're having, like Amazing Race theme for our show. So we're gonna do hopefully maybe one day, like we're gonna dress as our favorite
Yes.
people. But also I think we should now do. Jason calls in and helps us play matchmaker for you.
Yes.
So we'll have Jason call in, his friends will call in, and if you're watching the show, you can see how beautiful Jessica is.
I love
So,
that idea.
I mean,
I'm all
we're gonna.
for it.
So, is this okay that we turn this into a like dating
special.
show?
Just tie it into a charity.
Okay.
Okay.
Hashtag dates for Jess.
For charity. Hashtag.
And speaking of birthdays, Phil, our wonderful man, happy
Belated.
birthday.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Well, that's all the news that I just, wanted to share with all the Jamie. I just call them Jamie.
Dun,
Jason.
dun,
and Amy.
Jason.
All the Jamie fans. Jason and Amy.
I think that's great. Yeah. So I'm happy for Jason and Amy. They seem to be happy. Hell, they're at Disney World and they seem very happy together. Also, I think there's more news and gossip, but maybe I don't know how much you can say about your friends. We think that there is definitely a sparkle in Marie's eye for Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to her at all about this yet? Can you get, if you haven't, can you? Because I want to know if they're back together. Marie,
are you single or
Marie, are you single or are you with Tim? Or are you dating
let's
someone
talk.
else?
We'll Facebook chat.
Call
we'll
into the
Twitter
show,
direct
girl.
message.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll figure this out.
I want to know what's happening there.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Guess I don't know. I think we're onto something, the two of us here, that there's that twinkle in her eye.
We shall
Yep.
see.
There's a lot happening. Yeah, there's a lot happening behind closed doors for those two on the show.
Let's talk about predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I didn't get to see the last 30 seconds of the episode. I left my office too soon for that. So I don't really know what's going to happen next week, but I'm going to say Allie and Ashley go home.
I'm going to second that.
Is this wishful thinking or what we actually think is going to happen?
I think it's going to happen finally.
I think it
I
is
think
too.
it's time.
Yeah, because they I think are still going to be very much in the desert for the next episode. I think that we're going to see I'm hoping that we're going to see Jason and Amy finally get their first place prize. They're performing so well. They're consistently up there. They are due. So I'm hoping that I don't
they're
jinx
due.
it. I always do, but I think that they're going to get first next time. I agree. I think we're going to see Allie and Ashley go home. However,
I'll knock on wood for you.
oh, you're hilarious. She's knocking on my head, everybody. And then here's the thing, though. I worry about Nikki and Kim. I think that they're still in this, but at least from the previews, they seem to struggle a little bit as well in the next episode. That was probably just to throw us off and they get in first place for all we know.
True.
But I think that they're going to stay in it one more, but I don't know if they're going to like skyrocket back to second place like they were in. But
Yeah, good point. Maybe they're putting them in the preview for next week, so people are like, oh, what's going to happen to the baseball wives? And then out of nowhere, it's like, okay, they were fine all along. You just wanted to have people with that cliffhanger of what's going to happen.
yeah.
They better
So-
stay in. I'm rooting for you two all the way.
Who do you guys think is going to get first next week?
Oh boy, I'm gonna agree with you and say Jason and Amy.
Yeah, I think that they're due.
Yeah.
Because they've been second place 4 times in a row. I think that they're gonna have that much extra drive this time to get to first.
I agree.
There we go. Let's see if we jinxed it or if we're right. I don't know.
Justin, where can they find you?
You all can find me on most social media platforms at Justin J. Nichols.
And you can find me on pretty much all social media at Jess XOXO Carroll RRL.
Yes, and you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at Mr. James Wally.
And he's on Twitter all day long.
All day long.
Or just find any amazing race contestant, and I'm sure there'll be some interaction on that Twitter feed.
Absolutely.
With James. I give you crap. I think it's amazing. Like I think
Thank
it's.
you.
I look forward to talking with you every week about who you've been talking to. So do not stop just because we tease you.
And make sure you comment too. We love your comments.
Yes, comment, rate, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Alligator.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.